Hi there, my name's Ashley. I am a mental health nurse with Student Health Services, and this is a video. It's an introduction to meditation. So if you're interested in learning a bit more about meditation, benefits, some tips on how to get started on your own regular practice, then stick around and watch this video. I hope you find it helpful. So in this video, I'm going to spend just a little bit of time talking about what is meditation, what are some of the benefits, what are the different types. I don't want to spend too much time on that. And then I'm going to really get into the meat of this, because I want this to be a good, useful introduction for you. So we're going to get into what are the challenges of meditating, what are some of the things that can come up while we're meditating, and then we'll get into some tips how to overcome some of those challenges, and then we will get to do a bit of practice together as well. And I want to give you a few different options for practicing, and then right at the very end I'll give you some free resources that you might want to check out to help you with your meditation journey. So, full disclosure, I am not a meditation teacher. I have not been trained to be a meditation teacher. So really what I am sharing with you on this video is really from my own experience. I am a mental health nurse, so I'm very much focused on the mental health side of things. And my personal journey with meditation really started years ago, but if I'm completely honest, it's not something I've been doing regularly until really the last year or so. And you know, really in that last year or so, that's where I've really started to really see the benefits. You know, when you can do it regularly, that's when it can really make a difference. But yeah, even though I'm not technically a meditation teacher, it's something that I like to share with people. It's something that when I work with students for mental health, it's something that I like to encourage some of them to try. Because it really can be so beneficial in many ways. We'll get into what is meditation. I'm sure many of you watching this video have a really good idea of what meditation is, so I'm not going to go into that too much. And there's a really good chance that most of you have probably tried it before, and that's great. So very basically, meditation, it's a practice. Most commonly, you will sit in silence, often with your eyes closed, and it's really about bringing your focus to one thing, whether that is, you know, something in the present moment. Usually, most often, it is focusing on the breath, but it doesn't have to be the breath. There are many types of meditating, and I'll get into that in a bit. But yeah, when we think of meditation, typically we think of that stereotype of a yogi sitting cross-legged on the floor for hours on end with their eyes closed. That's definitely one way of doing it, but it's not the only way. So some benefits of meditation. There's a lot of research on it. Again, I don't want to get into this too much, but just to touch on it briefly, it can help to reduce stress, reduce anxiety. It can really help to improve focus and concentration. You know, that sustained effort of trying to focus on one thing. It's something that can really take into your everyday life, especially as a student when you're trying to study for things. I hear from students all the time that they are struggling with focus and concentration. Meditation is one tool that I would encourage you to explore. It may help you in that way. Some other things, it can help with depression for some people, and it also can help some physical things as well. Some research shows that it can help with pain, especially chronic pain. It can help to reduce blood pressure. It can help with sleep problems, and really the list goes on. So lots and lots of benefits there. When it comes to different types of meditation, mindfulness meditation is a very common one. Typically involves, that focusing on the present moment, focusing on the breath. Some other types of meditation include visualization. So you might be guided through visualizing, it could be you on a beach or on a tropical island somewhere that, gives you that sense of relaxation. Mantra meditation, that involves repeating one word or one phrase or one sound. That can be very relaxing. A body scan meditation, so that involves thinking through different parts of the body and really paying attention to how every single part of the body feels. I find that quite a difficult meditation to do. I think it's best done when you're being guided by someone else or guided by, say, a YouTube video. It can be a difficult one to do. I wouldn't recommend it as a beginner meditation. And then other types of meditation include movement. And I really want you to be aware of this. Meditation does not have to involve sitting still. I know that is really hard for some people. It can be hard for me too sometimes. So think about what are the other ways that I could get some benefits from meditation. So types of movement meditation include yoga. Yoga is a wonderful practice. Not only is it good for you physically, but it really does bring that meditation aspect into it. It's really about focusing on your breathing, focusing on every single movement you make. That's a great option if a sitting meditation does not work for you. Another type of movement meditation is a walking meditation. You can go for a walk, and it's about paying attention to what's going on in that moment. So you could be noticing, what are the sounds that I hear around me? You could hear the wind rustling through the trees. You can hear the bird song. You might even hear the traffic go by. That's not always the most relaxing sound, but even still, it's about just noticing what is going on right now. Another thing you can focus on while doing a walking meditation is just every single step that you take, focusing on one foot in front of the other. What does it feel like for my feet to hit the ground? What's the sound that it makes? That can be a really good option for people. So that's a few different options to think about for meditation. And I would really encourage you to explore them. If one type of meditation really doesn't work for you, try a different type. Keep trying. Be open to it. Explore the different possibilities. Because what works for one person does not work for every person. Another thing to bear in mind is it can be helpful, especially in the beginning, to maybe use some kind of guided meditation. There are a lot of apps that are available. I'm going to share some of those with you at the end. And there's a ton of stuff on YouTube. That can be a little bit overwhelming, knowing where to start. I'll give you a couple of examples of YouTube channels that you can check out at the end. But guided meditation can be really, really helpful. Just having some kind of voice to keep you on track, to follow along. And then, if you want to just do it on your own, that's okay too. I would encourage you can set a timer and just sit by yourself. I personally try all of these things. My practice really varies. It depends on how I'm feeling at the time. I'm a human being like everyone else, and some days I feel really able to sit alone on my own and just meditate with a timer. Other days that feels really, really difficult. So that might be a day when I use an app, or I use a YouTube video, or even if you've got Spotify, there are guided meditations on there as well. So yeah, like I said, that can be so helpful to keep you on track. So now I want to talk a little bit about what are some of the common challenges of meditation. What are some things that can come up while we are trying to meditate? So it is quite natural to feel really bored while you're meditating. Let's be honest, not many of us are used to sitting doing nothing. We're used to being busy, being distracted, being on our phones, on our laptops, on social media. We're used to that constant influx of information and stimuli. So for us to take some time to just sit quietly by ourselves and not do anything can be really, really challenging. So yes, you may feel bored, and I just want to tell you that that is okay. I feel bored when I do it sometimes, probably most of the time actually, if I'm honest. But that's okay. It's okay to feel bored. It's a practice of self-discipline. It's really, really beneficial to just give yourself that time to slow down. So along with boredom, you may feel frustrated. You may feel like, oh, why am I doing this? I can't sit still. I need to do something else. That's normal to feel that way. Thinking. So having thoughts. A lot of people, when I talk to them about trying meditation, they will quickly say to me, no, I've tried it before and it just doesn't work for me. I just can't stop thinking. You know, a lot of people think that the goal of meditation is to have a blank mind. I would say that that is not the goal. Yes, it would be nice to achieve that, and the more you practice it, the more you do notice those spaces of not thinking, which can be a really, really amazing, relaxing experience. But I would say the real goal with meditation is it's not about stopping your thoughts. Stopping is resistance. Resistance to anything makes it harder. What it is more about instead is noticing your thoughts. We are human. Our brains like to think. You know, we're thinking about the future. We're worrying about that exam that's coming up. We're worrying about what are we going to be doing when we're finishing school, or we're thinking about something that happened in the past, something that happened yesterday. Oh, I was in that seminar yesterday and I said that thing and I feel like such an idiot. Like I should have said this instead. I looked really stupid, right? It's really common for us to have those kinds of thoughts. And the thoughts can really just play on and on and on. It's known as monkey mind, just that busy thinking all the time. So what meditation does is it teaches you to not to stop those thoughts, but to recognize them and take away that judgment that you attach to those thoughts. You know, when we're having those negative thoughts, they make us feel bad. In meditation, we can notice those thoughts and just be like, oh, yeah, there's my mind again. It's thinking those thoughts. And then as soon as we notice that we're thinking, we just try and come right back to whatever it was we were focusing on, whether it's the breath or something else. It's a constant thing. It's not immediate. You're not gonna have a completely blank mind the whole time. I just really, really, really want to emphasize that because I don't want people to think that they're doing it wrong. I really don't think there is such a thing. It's just about practice. Keep noticing those thoughts. When you've noticed it, drop the judgment, bring it back. Notice the thoughts, bring it back. And you just keep going like that, keep bringing it back. And the more you practice that, the easier it can become, and the more you can take that into your everyday life. Think of the times in everyday life where your mind is doing that, and how, you know, you're just so fed up of thinking. If you can practice that in meditation, you can take that into those other times in your life. So yeah, thinking is normal. Other challenges that can occur with meditation, falling asleep. Sometimes that can occur, especially if you're doing it when you're lying down. Another thing that can happen for some people is sometimes difficult emotions can arise. And, you know, I would encourage you, if you can sit with it and allow it to be, then great. If you can't, if that emotion is way too overwhelming and way too difficult, I would encourage you to do whatever you need to do to just kind of bring yourself back into your environment and feel good and feel safe. And whether that is opening your eyes, taking some deep breaths, looking around the room, reminding yourself of where you are, you know, kind of touching things. I would really encourage that, because it can be really difficult for some people. Okay, so now we are getting into some of the juicier parts of this video. Hopefully you're still with me. So I want to talk about some tips, and I think I've got eight tips for you. So firstly, be comfortable when you're meditating. Think about, you know, what clothes you're wearing. Don't wear anything uncomfortable or restrictive. Don't wear jeans. Be comfy. That's so important. Also, it's a good idea to not meditate when you've just eaten, when you've got a really full stomach. You know, when you're digesting, that might be a distraction. And in the same breath, maybe don't meditate when you're really hungry. That could be distracting as well. If you are someone who finds that they fall asleep when they're meditating, you may want to think about the position you're taking. So if you are lying down and you're falling asleep, maybe don't do it lying down. It might just be that, you know, when you lie down, your brain just says, oh, we're lying down, it's time to go to sleep, and that just happens automatically. Or it may be that you are really tired and you actually just need to sleep. So I would encourage you to sit up when you meditate. Yes, you can sit on the floor, you can sit cross-legged. That definitely is a way of doing it. If you are doing that, I would encourage getting some kind of meditation cushion. If you can hear a noise, that's my dog drinking. Yeah, I would encourage a meditation cushion, just because when you're sitting cross-legged on the ground for a while, your legs can start to go numb. So you really want to make sure that your hips are higher than your knees. This helps to stop that compression, stop your legs from going numb, and it helps you to have a straighter posture. It's good to try and have that somewhat upright, alert posture if you can, but at the same time be fairly relaxed. So really you want to try and be somewhat alert, have a good posture, but it needs to be a balance between being alert and upright, and at the same time being comfortable and not too stiff. You don't have to sit on the floor cross-legged. To be honest with you, most of the time when I meditate, I actually sit in a chair. That is totally okay. You can just sit in a chair, you can use the back of the chair for support. That's totally okay. I do that, or I quite like to sit forwards. I sit on the edge of the chair and just kind of sit up straight like that. Not using some kind of backrest. That's another thing that can help you to stay more awake, because you're relying on yourself to hold yourself up. So those are some tips about comfort and position. So my second tip is, obviously, it sounds really obvious, but try to find somewhere quiet to meditate. That can be hard sometimes, I know, especially if you are sharing a space with other people. I know that a lot of you are sharing houses with other students. I know that a lot of you are at home in your family homes right now, and you might have siblings, so it might be difficult to find that quiet space. Try as best you can to find some quiet space. You could even take this outside if you've got a backyard. Fantastic. Meditating out in nature is a wonderful thing, so I would encourage that. But yeah, try to find somewhere quiet. Try to find somewhere where you're not going to be disturbed. It can be good to do it first thing in the morning, maybe a little bit earlier, because maybe you're not so likely to be disturbed at that time. But bear in mind as well that even if you can't find a completely silent place, that is okay. It's all right for there to be background noise. Sometimes when we're trying to meditate, we can get irritated by those sounds if it's not perfectly quiet. And I would encourage you to embrace the sounds. Really try to notice the sounds, because that is part of bringing yourself into the present moment, that noticing and accepting what is there. So tip number 3, this is a big one. Let go of expectations. Let go of, goals, expectations. Often when people start trying to meditate, they might really build it up. They might feel like, yep, this is going to be the thing for me. I'm going to feel so relaxed. I'm going to be an amazing yogi. It's going to, I'm going to sit there, I'm going to meditate, and it's going to take me to a whole other level. I would just say drop all of this. Just drop all of the expectations, and just be open-minded. The truth is that meditation is not always easy. It takes practice. It takes patience. What one person experiences in their meditation can be completely different from what another person experiences. It doesn't mean that one way is right, one way is wrong. It doesn't mean that one person is better, one person is not so good. Any effort that you make to meditate is worth it. It's absolutely worth it, even if it doesn't feel like it's going exactly the way you want it to. That is okay. It's all part of it. So number 4, I touched on this before. Thoughts are normal, and I say I touched on it. I think I had a bit of a rant about it actually, but it's because it's so important. Like I said, people have it in their minds that they're supposed to stop their thoughts. No. It's not about stopping thoughts. Notice your thoughts. Notice them. Try not to judge them. Just notice them. Notice them as if you're not attached to them at all. Remember, you are not your thoughts. So notice what your mind is doing. Notice where it's going. And when you've noticed it, just come back. Just keep noticing and keep coming back. Number 5, when you start meditating, I would recommend starting small. So often we can really set big goals for ourselves, and then it can seem overwhelming. It can seem like too much, and then when we don't meet that goal, we just completely throw it out the window and we don't bother trying. This really goes for anything. But yeah, with meditation, I would say you do not have to meditate for an hour in order to get benefits from it. I would say start really small, really achievable. Even if you are just meditating for 3 minutes, that is okay. Some days I just meditate for 3 minutes. That's all right. I still showed up. It still benefits me. If you can meditate for longer, fantastic. Absolutely, I encourage you to meditate for longer, but it can take time to build up to that. Just remember that. And even if you do get to the point where you're meditating for those longer periods of time, there may still be days where you feel like, do you know what, I can only manage a couple of minutes today. That's okay. I would just say more than anything, the important thing is to show up, to try. And as much as possible, I'm actually kind of going into my number 6 tip here, so I'll go right into that. As much as possible, try to make this a daily practice. I'm going to be 100% honest with you right now. I do not meditate every single day. It's a goal of mine to meditate every day, but I'm human like the rest of you. Sometimes I don't do it. Sometimes I don't feel like doing it. And I don't. And do I know that it would benefit me? It would really benefit me to do it every day. Absolutely it would. But I'm going to keep trying. So, if I have a day when, I skip my meditation practice, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I'm going to start again tomorrow. So just keep coming back to it. Keep coming back to it as much as you can. If so I know that some people, they like to track how often they are meditating. This can be a feature on some apps, tracking a streak of days that you have meditated in a row. That's good. It's good, and maybe that works for you, and maybe that keeps you accountable. But at the same time, it can feel very self-defeating if you get to a streak and then you have a day where you don't do it. It can feel really bad. And then for some people, it kind of just stops them from doing it altogether. I would say just let go of that pressure. Absolutely have some self-discipline. Keep coming back to it. Try as best you can to do it every day. Fantastic. But if you drop it for a day, it's okay. You can come back tomorrow. So yeah, just keep coming back. That's the most important thing. The more you practice this, the more benefits you will get. So my number 7 tip is to use something to keep you on track. So you can use a timer if you want to just practice meditating on your own. To start with, set a timer for 3 minutes. Maybe then try 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and so on. You can also try an app where you can follow guided meditations, or you can listen to relaxing music, or you can use a guided meditation on YouTube. Another thing you could do is you could try a meditation class. There are some people who are offering free meditation classes online right now. So, you can find those through various social media platforms. So I would really encourage you to take advantage of those. Being in that session, even though it's not face-to-face right now, being in a session with other people sharing that space, even though it's not physical space, just that mental space, can be really, really helpful, and having that teacher there talking you through can be wonderful. I personally do meditation classes from time to time. I have a meditation teacher. I don't go to at the moment, but online I will do, I'm involved with a meditation circle, and it's wonderful to share that space with other people. It's really, really helpful to experience it together. It can kind of keep you on track as well. And then my number 8 tip is really just find what works for you. I said it before, what works for one person does not work for everyone. So just be open-minded, keep exploring, keep trying until you find what works for you. If sitting meditation really doesn't work for you, try some kind of movement, try yoga, try a walking meditation. Really give it a go. So now we are going to actually practice some meditations together. And what I really want to do in this is to give you options. Often some meditation teachings, from my experience, can be a bit restrictive, or they only focus on one particular thing, and I just think it's really important for everyone to have options because everyone is so different. So this is what I want to do for you today. So I'm going to focus on 3 different ways of meditating. And when I say ways of meditating, I'm really talking about 3 different focus points. They're known as focus points or anchors. It's the thing that keeps you in the present moment. It is the thing that anchors you to now. So as before, when I was talking about those thoughts coming up, noticing those thoughts, dropping the judgment, coming back, what you are coming back to each time is your focus point or your anchor. So traditionally, or most commonly, your anchor is your breath. This does not work for everyone. For some people, focusing a lot on the breath can be uncomfortable. For some people, it can make you feel a bit more anxious. And I can identify with this because that's what I used to experience when I first tried meditating. So for me, it's not so bad now. Sometimes I like to focus on the breath, but I much prefer to focus on other things. But it does work for a lot of people. So we're going to try it now together. So what I would like you to do, or what I'd like to invite you to do, is to get yourself into a comfortable spot. So remember, this can be sitting on the ground with your legs crossed, preferably on a cushion, or just sitting in a chair, and you can sit back and use the backrest, or you can, like me, you can kind of sit on the edge. I encourage you to sit up straight, have an alert posture, but don't be too stiff. Just keep it fairly relaxed. And I'll invite you to close your eyes. You don't have to close your eyes. Not everyone's comfortable with that. That's okay. If you don't want to close your eyes, I would say just lower your gaze, soften your gaze. Just look down slightly ahead of you. And rest your hands somewhere comfortable. I'm resting mine on the table right now, but most commonly I'll rest my hands in my lap. I'll put my hands on my thighs, whatever feels comfortable for you. And as you come to settle into a comfortable but alert position, I encourage you to begin to focus on your breath. And I just want you to notice it. Just notice as the air comes in, and notice as the air moves out again. You don't have to change anything about your breath. You don't have to force it. Just let your breath do what it wants to do naturally. And you may have already noticed that your mind is starting to wander. That's okay. as soon as you notice, just come back to your breath. And keep noticing the inhale, how the air moves in, and then the exhale as the air moves out. You might notice the air coming in your nostrils, and the air coming out of your nostrils or your mouth, whatever works for you. You might notice your belly rising as you inhale, and how it falls as you exhale. And then just slowly start to open your eyes and come back to the room. So think for a moment how that felt for you. Reflect on that. Did that feel good? Did it feel natural? Did it feel relaxing? Was that an easy thing for you to focus on? I quite enjoyed that. I feel really relaxed right now. I'm not even kidding. So now we're gonna try something different. So this is the second focus point or anchor that I want to suggest. So this is more about sensations. It's about being in your physical body. So again, just take a moment, get yourself comfortable in the position that you want to be in. Rest your hands somewhere comfortable, have them relaxed. And again, I'll invite you to close your eyes or just lower and soften your gaze. That's fine too. Take a moment just to allow your shoulders to drop. I didn't mention that before, but often our shoulders and our necks can be really tense. So just see if you can let them drop. And then this time, I want you to choose a particular part of your body to focus on. So I'll give you a couple of options. One thing you could focus on is your feet. Just noticing where your feet are touching the ground. Similar to that, you could try paying attention to where your bum is on either the floor, a cushion, or a chair. Just noticing those points of contact. Pay attention to how that feels. How does it feel to be supported by the ground or the chair or the cushion beneath you? Just notice your weight. And you can keep focusing on that, or you could try a different point to focus on. Try paying attention to the palms of your hands. And for this, you might want to have your hands resting in your lap with your palms face up. Just really bring all of your attention to your palms and your fingers. What can you feel? Maybe you notice the temperature of your surroundings. Maybe the air is warm, or maybe it's cool. If you pay close enough attention, you might notice some tingles, or maybe even some pulsations. Just stick with that for a few moments. And again, you may have noticed that your mind is wandering. Maybe you're feeling bored. That is totally okay. When you notice your thoughts, just drop that judgment and come right back to your anchor. Just focus on the palms of your hands, or your feet touching the ground, or your bum resting in the chair or on the cushion. And now, again, just slowly come back to the room and open your eyes. So how was that for you? Option number 2, sensations. That works really well for people. Personally, it's not my favorite one. It doesn't work that well for me, but that's okay. It might work really well for you. So now we're going to try my third anchor, my third focus point. So this one is all about sounds. And this one comes in, it can be really helpful if you are one of those people who is in a house with other people and you can hear them. You can hear them talking, or you can hear the TV, or maybe traffic, wherever you are, and it's not completely silent. So this can be really, really helpful for you. So once again, just take a moment to get yourself in a alert, comfortable position. Rest your hands, and if you want to, close your eyes, or just again lower and soften your gaze. Take a moment to relax and drop your shoulders. And then notice what sounds are around you right now. Maybe you can hear the buzz of a refrigerator, or your heating or air conditioning. Maybe you can hear some traffic outside, or people talking in another room. Personally, and I don't know if my microphone's picking this up, but I can hear one of my dogs snoring right now. And I love focusing on that sound. I often focus on that. Just hearing my dog snore. It just sounds so peaceful. Maybe there aren't really any sounds in your environment right now. Maybe the sound is my voice. And that works too. Just focus on the sound of my voice. And just keep noticing. What can you hear right now? My dog just did a big sigh. He sounds so relaxed. And once again, maybe your thoughts are wandering. That's okay. Maybe you're thinking about something you have to do today or tomorrow. Maybe you're thinking about something that happened yesterday. Maybe you're thinking about something way off in the future. We don't even know if it's actually going to happen. It's okay. It's okay to have thoughts. Just notice. Let go of the judgment. You are not your thoughts. And just come back. Come back to the sounds. Come back to my voice. Come back to whatever sound is in your environment right now. And then slowly start coming back to the room. You can wiggle your fingers and your toes. It's a nice way to come back. And then just slowly, whenever you're ready, start to open your eyes. So, 3 different focus points, 3 different anchors: breath, physical sensations, and sounds. So that's 3 different options for you. Always remember, you can try different things. So I really hope that there was something there that helps you. So to finish, I just wanted to mention some resources that you may find helpful if you're wanting to try meditation. So some apps that are really good. There is the Calm app. That's an app that I actually use myself. I don't work for them or anything like that. I just like it. And if you are interested in that app, some of it is free. There is free content, but in order to get all of the content, there is a subscription fee. If you are interested in that app, if you try the free content and you feel like you want to try the subscription, I do have a special 50% discount that I can share with exclusively for Brock students for the first year. So I will include that at the end of this video if you are interested. Another app that's really good is the Headspace app. There's also one called Insight Timer, which is excellent. It has a lot of free content. You don't have to pay for this stuff. Buddhify is another one, and then Stop, Breathe and Think. Some YouTube channels that I want to mention, Headspace and Calm, they have their own YouTube channels. The Headspace YouTube channel is really, really good. There's a really excellent section for tips on meditating. I would highly recommend that. The Mindful Movement is a good one. And then for yoga and some sitting meditation as well, Yoga with Adriene, I highly recommend that. Her videos are so good. She has all different lengths of videos. Some of them are really short, like just 10 minutes or even less sometimes. Some are longer. She does lots of different styles, and then she has some meditation videos as well. So I'd highly recommend that. So yeah, try some of those out and see what works for you, and just keep exploring. I really hope this video has been helpful for you. I wish you all the best in your meditation practice, your meditation journey. Take care. Thanks for watching.